Hey, remember last year when I took 5 other YouTubers, put them on a stage, and made them do stuff like this?
Hey, I'm long in here.
Yeah, but what if we did it again, and this time it was better, and was more fun, and maybe illegal-er? Perhaps this time we sprinkle in some Fonchi Frojbane. And Ponley. And perhaps you get your- Shut up! And perhaps you get your ass to New York City September 25th at City Winery. Link in description. Link in description. Andy, just wanted to send you a note and say that your episode on conspiracy theory was hilarious. Great work in commentary. That show was a wild ride to produce, and then in season 3 to appear in. So many bizarre and crazy adventures on that production. It's truly an honor to see it show up all these years later and provide some laughs and hopefully clicks for your channel. Sincerely, the supervillain, aka Tyrell Ventura. This is an email that I received around a year ago from Tyrell Ventura, the son of Jesse Ventura. Who is Jesse Ventura? Yes.
You cannot say that any member of the Bush administration knew it was going to happen or wanted it to happen. It's a ridiculous thing to say.
Ridiculous. Okay, let's talk about your BBC.
Folks, you're looking at a Navy vet, wrestler, actor, commentator, mayor, governor, who, between the years of 2009 and 2012, decided he had time to make 3 seasons of an investigative reality show called Conspiracy Theory. As you probably gathered from Tyrell's email, I covered an episode of this show last year, which seems to have gone over pretty well with the Ventura family, including my comments about Tyrell Ventura looking like a supervillain. Because he looks like a supervillain. Look at this though, Jesse himself followed me on Twitter, of all places. No message or anything like that, he's just, kind of lurking as usual, I guess. Each episode of Conspiracy Theory follows Jesse and his team through the most elaborate and entertaining quest for nothing you will ever witness. Last time we took a look at Season 3, Episode 5 in the infamous Skinwalker Ranch, a gripping 40-minute experience, only interrupted by a brief 2012-era Alex Jones jump scare. But it shows in people like this that make me wonder, how did we get here? You know, doesn't every conspiracy theorist have a catalyst event that launches them into the darkness? And if so, what was Jesse's? I thought that the best way to answer this question would be to take a look at the first episode of the show. And then I watched the first episode of the show.
Jesse Ventura cares deeply about his country, but no event did more to shake his beliefs than the attacks of September 11, 2001.
Manager, just gotta check on this one. Hey, what's going on?
What's up, buddy?
You think I could, you think I could do a 9/11 video?
Definitely not.
It's not often that I find myself pressing pause almost instantly after pressing play, but if I may, this is a rather wacky idea for a series premiere. This episode making it to air is all I need to know about the ethical consideration that went into greenlighting it. There is no universe in which ethical lines are not crossed before we see the credits roll. We are well aware of this. Unfortunately, so is Jesse.
With 9/11, some things just never added up for me. Why weren't those jetliners brought down? Why did the buildings go down so quickly? I knew this investigation was going to get some people pretty angry, but I also knew I owed this one to the victims.
Well, you don't. In an overly ambitious attempt to justify the investigation's necessity, however, Jesse visits the home of a woman who lost her pregnant daughter on 9/11. I think he just wanted to establish the fact that he wasn't the only one freaking out about it, which he succeeded in, but probably not in the way he intended to.
We never had an investigation. And my kid is a victim of the second plane. Why would I not ask questions? I'm not a scientist, but all I want is for someone to validate the questions and have every American citizen exposed to the questions.
Using one mother of a victim whose grief has driven her to become a conspiracy theorist does not feel like the most responsible way to represent the voice of the people here. Also, is it not troubling that these two share the same level of investment in the tragedy, despite only one of them actually having their life torn apart by it? What I'm trying to say is, regardless of how much Jesse actually cares about the tragedy, ultimately his role in all of this is purely theatrical. If there was a bombshell revelation in a reality TV episode about 9/11 15 years ago, I think we would have heard about it by now.
Donna O'Connor made it very clear that she and other 9/11 survivors are not satisfied with the official answers. Uncovering the truth, exposing the lies, will only ease the pain. That was good enough for me. Donna, thank you.
Bye, Governor. Keep working hard. We need you.
Yeah, see, there it is. What exactly do you think he's about to do for you? I get it. If a man with the voice of Optimus Prime came into my home and said that he was going to avenge my family, I too would trust him no matter what. But from an outsider perspective, it feels pretty exploitative, okay? He's not coming back. Actually, right now, he's meeting up with a guy that the show describes as
The last man out of the last tower to fall.
And this is true, depending on who you ask. William Rodriguez was a custodian in the North Tower who undoubtedly had a role in saving lives the day of the attacks. However, his own Wikipedia page will let you know that he was far from the last person to escape. Despite this, he has gone on to make a living using the title of Last Man Out, accompanied by some of the wildest self-promotion I think I will ever see. This looks like he did it. Anyway, he spent years claiming that at the moment of the attack, he heard and felt two separate explosions, the first of which he believes was not a plane.
At 8:46, while we're talking in front of the office, we hear, bah! Boom! 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 I went to say, it may be when we hear, bah! All the way on the top of the building, and I speculated that it was the plane hitting the tower.
He then goes on to clarify that the explosions were around 6 to 7 seconds apart. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if you are inside of a skyscraper that is being full speed penetrated by a Boeing 767 aircraft, I would expect you to hear and feel many explosions for many seconds. Funnily enough, I found a clip of him on a podcast a few years ago where he fully agrees with that sentiment.
I cannot change what I went through. I said it. I was one of the first ones to say it. I could be wrong, but that's what I experienced, But, there were many explosions in the building, and it's not for me to say that, to investigate that. It's for the expert and for the people that know about these things to investigate. It could have been fax machines blowing up. It could be a generator blowing up.
So you're not getting this theory past me, okay? But if I know anything about Jesse Ventura, that guy will take grains of salt and treat them like VVS diamonds. The same way he refers to this barren soundstage as the War Room.
Sipping the fucking Johnny Walker.
The governor arrives at his war room, where his elite team of investigators and researchers is at the ready.
Now you may be wondering, who are these elite investigators? What do they do? No. You will not be learning any more about these people. Sorry, they are simply investigators with first names only. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Unemployed. Among the claims made by William Rodriguez, Jesse can't get over the fact that his testimony before the 9/11 Commission was not included in their official report.
Why come out now? What's he getting from this?
Come out now. He was brought in front of the 9/11 Commission. They took him in a private room. He testified for 30 minutes, and today there's no record of him even being there.
Any chance he's not in the record because his story doesn't check out?
His story contradicts the official story, Alex, pretty severely, doesn't it?
Yeah, Alex, you can't talk, okay? Were you even there?
You don't want
Were you
that
even
out to the
there?
public.
Thankfully, this is not their only lead. Can you imagine? I can. But you'll start to notice that with each lead, they only stray further from the truth.
Okay, we are going to look at Stephen Jones. He's a former physics professor from Brigham Young University. Now, he analysed dust samples from September 11th and says that he found explosive residue in it.
Really?
As soon
Come
as he
on, man.
published his findings,
This is how I know Jesse would just be the easiest guy to get along with. He just goes with it. He is simultaneously 10 years old and 80 years old in the way that he approaches the world, and it is such a breath of fresh air. I wonder if anyone's told him about the Oscars yet.
You're telling me Will Smith slapped Chris Rock?
as soon as he published his findings, he was forced to leave his post at Brigham Young.
No kidding.
No. So he's effectively fired.
So let me get this straight. A college fired a professor just for publishing a conspiracy theory implying that America 9/11'd itself? Something's not adding up here. Something's not adding up for me. Also, congrats on being so crazy that you got fired from the Mormon school. Genuinely, what do you do after that? Fuck it. 9/11 too? I should cut that. I should take that out. I'm keeping it in. Jesse's definitely still pissed off at that other investigator, Alex, for doubting his field work, so he throws him on a plane alone to Utah to interview this guy. He's quite the freak. Everything he says is delivered very softly. Meanwhile, bro's literally talking about getting death threats.
I just within a couple days had angry emails, and particularly from an engineer, identified himself as a consultant with Homeland Security, saying that if I published this, the pain would be great.
He believes his bomb theory is supported by the collapse of World Trade Center Building 7, which in his opinion could not have been caused by destruction of the main towers, as is officially stated. Now take a look at this map. This is the World Trade Center in 2001, okay? Over on the right here, you'll see that Building 7 was just across the street from Buildings 1 and 6. So I'm just wondering, was this guy a professor of physics? Or a professor of literal penis?
7 World Trade Center was a 47-story office building. Among its tenants, the Department of Defense, the Secret Service, and the CIA. Not the easiest place to plant a bomb.
Yeah, which is why they didn't. Nice use of the Getty images, though. At first I was thinking lazy editing, but then it dawned on me that Jesse is 100% the type of person who would use a shitty version of a government seal just to stick it to the man. Regardless of all of this, Dr. Jones claims to have discovered explosive residue in the dust from the rubble, which he believes could be a compound called super thermite. If you, for whatever wild reason, were on board with him up to this point, I genuinely hope, for your sake, that his next statement changes your mind.
It's a liquid when it's wet, and it can actually be painted on. I mean, these guys might actually have thought they were just painting. When you're painting with it, it's safe. It's really quite remarkable stuff. When it dries, it's a high explosive.
Hey, actually, you know what? Thank you very much, Dr. Jones, but I think that's all we're gonna need today. Thank you so much for coming in, okay? Ugh, don't you want to hear about the super thermite? No. However rotten this man's brain may be, he has unfortunately provided the team with a theory that is testable enough on a small scale. Researchers at New Mexico Tech have agreed to conduct this experiment for them, which is highly ironic considering what happened to Dr. Jones, but oh well, I guess we're just crazy. As expected, they are going to burn one object without super thermite, and then they are going to burn the same object with it. Woo! Goosebumps. Sorry. Stop me if I'm wrong. Unless I'm missing something here, all this experiment proves is that flammable material is flammable. Also, I thought the implication was that these workers were supposedly painting the liquid onto the walls, but here you are slathering that shit directly onto the beam, which, by the way, still didn't melt. Thank you, Professor Penis.
Imagine if this stuff was painted on buildings in New York, Boston, Washington, D.C., all over the country. That stuff could be everywhere.
No, I do not want to book an Airbnb with you and 10 of our friends. Not only because it makes me uncomfortable, but because I prefer to use Directo, the sponsor of today's video. Directo is your trusty co-pilot for finding better rates on hotels and vacation rentals. Oh boy, here I am on Airbnb again. But see, while I'm browsing my usual travel sites, Directo's smart technology scans and highlights direct booking options. That way I can see if there's a better deal very quickly, avoiding the middleman and extra fees. I cannot get over, I hate middlemen! I am telling you this as someone who is a heavy backer of direct booking. I cannot suggest it enough. Simply follow the link in the description, install the Directo Chrome extension, and pin that sucker. Yes, this only works on desktop, but it is absolutely free, okay? There are no gimmicky coupons or codes or anything like that. This is all free, baby. All for you. So why not save yourself some time next time you book by using Directo at the link in the description. Despite not having a shred of substantial evidence, Jesse has confidently decided to hit the streets and go directly to ground zero. Surely, I thought to myself, surely he cannot be here for the reason I think he is. It cannot be possible. And then I pressed play again.
Jesse makes his way closer to the scene of the crime. He's hoping to get into the Ground Zero site, maybe find some remnants of the original steel that he can bring back for testing.
Hey, where do you think you're going, buddy? Hey! It's all right. A little bit of a side jump scare here, really just for me. He meets up with this 9/11 We Want Answers type group, and one of the guys is wearing a New Orleans hat. We don't claim him. Anyway, this plan isn't happening for a variety of reasons that I can't even begin to break down, but let's just go ahead and start with the simplest. It is 2009.
The new buildings would withstand the heat from jet fuel or super thermite. But the original steel, it was long gone. Most of it shipped out and recycled. This crime scene had been destroyed a long time ago.
This is not a destroyed crime scene. This is the construction of a memorial.
Give me an example of why they would change basic police investigation.
The logic is that people didn't want to have to look at that eyesore
all right.
and remind themselves of what happened on that day.
I'll give that to you. But then why did it all have to be destroyed? Couldn't they have removed it and taken it to another spot so that then it could be investigated? No. The main focus going on that day was to get rid of every shred of evidence, melt it down, build Navy ships out of it, ship it off to China, anything they could do with the remains out there.
What the fuck are you talking about? I think he's kind of panicking now. I mean, he's mere hours into his ground investigation and he's already having a public meltdown on the Staten Island ferry. This guy is fully dissociating. This investigation needs a pretty hard pivot. Fast, okay? Grandpa's falling asleep. Start talking about George Bush. Perhaps some of you are familiar with this device, known as a black box. It is a flight recorder that can be found inside of every commercial airliner, is very hard to destroy, and because of that, is recoverable in most aviation incidents. However, in a rare turn of events, the black boxes from the World Trade Center were never recovered.
To my knowledge, they've never ever not been able to find the black boxes before. They're supposedly pretty much indestructible. Now, if they went through the debris to the point where they could find small bone fragments, DNA test it, and match it up to victims, how could they miss these big yellow striped boxes that everyone and their uncle would be looking for?
What is being blatantly ignored here is the fact that there were 2 other planes hijacked that day, both with recovered black boxes. We have enough information about Flight 93 that they were able to make an entire movie out of it. But let's go ahead and keep pretending like we don't have a wealth of context at our disposal, yeah? Let's go sit down with some guys who talked to some other guys who told them that the boxes actually were recovered. You know, just so we can hear what we want to hear. Nope, they don't have evidence, but I think we should just trust them based on looks. That's probably a good idea.
Look, people, these black boxes were made to withstand nearly anything. Now, you're telling me they can't find them when they went through this debris with a fine-tooth comb, and you're gonna tell me that they wouldn't find these black boxes even if they were charred, burnt, and melted? Of course they would.
What are the black boxes going to tell us that we don't already know?
Why are you still doing this? If you came here just to make valid points, you should see yourself out. That's disgusting.
Well, a lot of the evidence from 9/11 is stored at a hangar at JFK, Hangar 17. We asked permission to go in, and they wouldn't let us in even without our cameras.
And they wonder why there's conspiracy theories? Let's get on this one, people.
Coming up, Jesse Ventura shifts into combat mode for an assault on Hangar 17.
Whoa! Hold on. Are you? Can you legally say that? Aren't we just here to try to find evidence? Combat mode and assault are such heavy words. It makes it sound like he's prepared to fight for answers, which I don't doubt. This adventure is the dumbest one to me. He starts trying to like break gates open and shit, GTA style. Jesse is not able to wrap his mind around the fact that he can't just stroll into places, and it's the funniest shit every single time. He always just passes it off as them hiding something. He did the same thing at Ground Zero.
Get up here. Get up here. This is what they don't want me to see. We've tried to get in this building. We can't even get in it now. The door's locked. You can see girders, obviously from the 9/11 site. Were they tested for super thermite? I doubt it. Why won't they give us access to this building? What is the reason for it?
Jesse, how do I put this gently? Even if they did give tours, I would not blame them for turning you away. At this point, the episode claims that the investigation has, quote, just begun. However, if I know anything about this show, that means we're down to our final option. June meets up with this retired Air Force pilot to discuss the possibility of 9/11 being a false flag attack. It's pretty much the lore of Fallout, you know, America attacks itself, making it look like someone else. I'm not exactly sure what the significance of this interview is, though. Once again, no evidence. It feels like they're asking us to trust this guy because he was in the Air Force at one point. One of the guys that Jesse talked to about the black boxes alleged that he had a handful of people on standby that have supposedly heard the missing black box recordings. But as soon as Jesse asks to meet them, there's a problem.
So what's happening? I hear we got problems.
Well, some of my friends from Boston just seem to have a little issue with what we're talking about.
They don't want to participate anymore? They don't want to talk?
Well, they're scared.
They're scared.
Yeah, and they're real too, you know. They're just scared. He is conveniently able to tell them everything about each individual person from that handful of people. However, according to him, they're currently being silenced by the government and are therefore busy by default. Please respect their privacy in this time. That won't get past Jesse, though. They're clearly on Do Not Disturb.
Hi, this is Governor Jesse Ventura. Sorry to bother you, but I understand that you canceled talking to us. And my only message to you is this. Remember, the truth will set you free. And you really want to live
I'm just imagining it's like the wrong number.
You really want to live your whole life with the knowledge you have and not pass it on. We're here for you to talk to you, and we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep seeking the truth because we're not going to let this thing go away.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling like the myth is busted on this one. They've gone into combat mode, they've talked to Mormons, they've even jeopardized the careers of a few researchers at New Mexico Tech. Yet none of those things have gotten them any closer to a legitimate source of information. So let's just try combat mode again.
I want to go to the FBI. I want to go wherever we got to go to find out about the black boxes. Take me there.
Alex, unsurprisingly, but finally asks the question that everyone's been thinking. Do you really think you can just walk in there? To which Jesse replies,
maybe, face to face. I told you before, it's easy to say no over the phone. It's easy to say no on an email. It's not that easy to say no when someone walks in face to face. I'm going inside.
It's a bad idea.
You can't go in, well, I'm going in.
Believe it or not, Jesse does manage to get an interview with an actual FBI agent. And unsurprisingly, he absolutely fucking blows it. Let's be real, half of the reason he's doing this is so that he can harass the feds on live television, which I respect. It just comes off a little goofy when you don't let the other guy get a single word in.
I don't know where they are.
First time in history.
So what? So first time, there's a first.
There were so many firsts at 9/11.
There's a first time
a
for everything.
steel structured building fell from fire alone. First
Jesse,
time,
that's your-
first.
That's your-
There's so many firsts here.
That's your point of view. I'm telling you.
I'm telling
and I'm
you.
asking.
This is kind of how we ended the last episode too. Once again, we've uncovered nothing, but at least we're talking face to face with someone who is an actual, real human person with a job. If you did not believe me when I said that these episodes are elaborate nothing journeys, I hope you do now. And if you still don't, I will leave you with the final clip in this episode.
Every government official we talk to refers us back to the 9/11 report. Well, I've read the 9/11 report, and there's nothing in it. And where are those black boxes now? Are they being hidden because they might tell us that the hijackers were in the cockpit of American Airlines before it even took off? These are the facts as we found them. But I'm more convinced than ever that the real story of 9/11 is lying in some government vault somewhere. I'm Jesse Ventura, and this is Conspiracy Theory.
Do you like conspiracy theory? Do you like to watch it with me? That was kind of... Actually, I was going to say it was weird, but it was pretty cool. Jesse Ventura, I can't get enough of you. Why won't you respond to my DMs? I didn't know if I was gonna be able to pull this one off in the proper manner. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, it's an interesting episode to look at. It is genuinely just the most bizarre thing. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what I should do next. Help, 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 help. As usual, that's all I have for you this time, but until next time, buy tickets to my show, 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 buy tickets to my show.